What is a dictionary? If you go till now, we worked on the list, tuples, sets. List we are storing in a square braces. Tuples we are storing in a parentheses. Whereas sets we are storing in a flower braces. That we have seen till now. Now this dictionary is also stored with the flower braces only, but in a slight different fashion. To understand more, generally this dictionary is there in other languages also. The most common name for it is called as hash map or map. So other languages also support this concept. But the way the structure is there, language to language, things will be different.
You want to change it?
If you want to create an empty dictionary, so we need to create like this. If I have like a empty dict, I need to define with these braces. So I told you, whenever you have a empty dictionary, you do like this. Or if you have a doubt, you can also define like this. So either you define like this or like this, both are a dictionary. Whereas if I go ahead in the other way, so for a set, I told that whenever you are defining as empty set, we need to define with a set. So if you see the first two cases, when I use like this or dict built-in function, you got like this. That's what the Pipette standard says, that hey, it's better to use these dict functions or set functions whenever you're defining an empty one. You will not have a confusion, right? So that's what they say. But when you are more experienced, it's easy. Similarly, if the same dictionary, if they are having some values, then it's not a big deal. Whenever you have a values, then the problem will not be there. So when the values are there, see how it works. In a set, you use flower braces only, but the values are comma separated. Whereas in a dictionary, every value pair will be like a column separated. So and like the everyone is like comma separated. Means you will have a pair of values each time. So that's the beauty of a dictionary. So that's the difference between a set and a dictionary. And even when you have a single value also, you need not have something like a comma or anything. You just place like a comma separated values. It will work. So if you ask, hey, what is the value and the type? It will say like, yes, I am so and so. And you can also apply the length built-in function here also. If you ask in this case, we have a single pair. So if you ask what is the length of dictionary, it will not say that I have two values. It will say I have one, means one pair. Dictionary every time, it means like it will check for the pair of values. If it has a pair of values, it says yes. Next, after going further, in a dictionary, in Python, old version of Python, they used to retain the order. Means, so one of the property of dictionary is that they will retain the order in which you have given. Means, earlier how it works used to work is like, let's say I have a dictionary. Say I am storing some dictionary as say alphabets. You see, I have a key colon value, key colon value, key colon value, key colon value. Like that, four pairs are there. It is a dictionary. And after doing this, if I print it, you see what will happen. Did you see the output is also in the same order as we have given? I am not saying about ascending or descending. So the order in which you gave is retained, right? Which is not possible earlier actually. Before Python 3.6, the order used to be not retained. So now also you can see the set, right? You give values in one order, but it will may be in some other order. But from 3.6 onwards, they retain the order in which you give. So earlier, before 3.6, we used to use something called as an order dict module. Now it is no more needed, just like a history I'm telling you. At that time, if you want to retain the order, we used to use the third party module called as order dict. Now it is no more needed. Just I am telling you. Similarly, so using a dictionary, you can have multiple values. And when you are defining the multiple values, you may not define all the values in a single line like this. Maybe you can define in multiple lines. I told if you want to go for multi-line statement, you can define like this also. So if I define like this, and if I ask, hey, print, so type of this person details and the values. Did you see? It's an empty dictionary. So you can define like this also. When you're defining, you can have some values. Say, if I have one key called as a name colon so and so, I can define. And similarly, I can have more values further. Means like this time, I can have like this. See, instead of one line, so I have like multiple like this. You see, in this case now, it's again a dictionary having multiple values. And observe key colon value. And it doesn't mean that every time key should be a string. We can have key anything, value also anything. So it can have anything. So overall, if I can note, say I am making this dictionary much better. If you see here, I added multiple details. The key should be like a, so there are some rules here. Coming to this, I have done like, see here, the keys I have taken till now the strings, right? But values I did different things, list, tuple, anything I did. But here also integer. Here it is a floating point value. It is a tuple. It is a none. So don't you think all were immutable still now? The keys till now I placed were like immutables. So it will work. So if I try to take the same thing and try to extend it further, means if I take like, some new key called as like a this. If you observe, the key is is a list. For the first time, you have taken a key which is a mutable object. If you do for a mutable object, it doesn't work. So let me do here now. You can understand. The moment I did, it will throw an error. What it is saying? Unhashable type list means you can have only hashables as a keys. So this is what you need to be aware of. So dict keys should be should be immutable and hashable. What do you mean by immutable and hashable means? It should be immutable and also hashable I'm saying. What do you mean by hashable, sir? Means I will tell you shortly. Till now that list is a mutable object, you understood. As we are given like that, it doesn't work. So the solution is that you convert this to a, say, tuple. You convert to a tuple, right? So then it will take and it will store the values. You got the values and you see the last one, which is a tuple. So like that, it will work if you do. And also, you can take anything like this and it will work. Here, you need to understand one point. Immutable means what? You understood mutable and immutable. Mutable means any object which supports in-place changes, which is list, tuple, set. So now dictionaries also works like that. Sorry, not tuple. Yeah, list, set, and dictionary. So whereas the immutable means the basic data types. So basic data types. So means like int, float, none, boolean, string. These are the things. And apart from that, tuple is also there, which is immutable. And like frozen set is also there, which is immutable. But what is this concept of hashable, sir? Means by default, all the immutables are hashable. Okay? Means so there is a built-in function called as hash, which we don't use, but in the background it will use. This is another function which I'm helping you to understand. If you take any of the built-in functions, you can try that. Say in one shot, I want to give all the details. So let me go with a f string. Now you can understand here how it works. If I go with say like, hash of 1, which is an integer. Say if I go for like 1.34, which is also a float. If I go for like the same value in a negative, maybe negative 0 point so and so I'm given. So integers, floats I have. Then I can have a none, which is a none value, none. And in the same fashion, I can have like a boolean, which is like a true, true. And we can do like a false, which is also a built-in. So true, false. So then like what else is there? The basic things. So the basic data types were done. Maybe like I can take one string. So the string I can take like, like a, say Python is a string, which I can take. Or I can go with like, single and double quotes, it doesn't make a difference. So I'm not considering all of them. And also I can take a tuple. So tuple means like 1, 2, 3. I have the values. So if you see all these cases, these are immutables. So for everything, it will give a unique number. So this hash is helpful when I'm in the storage in the background. So for integers, it will give the same number, but for floating and others, everything it will give a number. See here, it is giving a number. So for negative, it is giving a negative number, but some hash it is giving. Okay, but if you are going for the mutable objects, say if I go with a same list, it will say it is unhashable. Okay, this is clear. But sometimes you should be aware. If I give like a 1, 2, 3, and like this, say 4 and 5, is it immutable or immutable? If I say like result is equal to something, and if I ask, hey, so print the type of result and also the result, you can understand it's of tuple. So though it is a tuple, generally we know tuples are immutable, so it should be hashable. We can generate a hash. But for this example, it is unhashable because deep inside it has a list, right? So it is immutable, but not hashable. So we should give only immutable and hashable objects can be stored as a set, so set values and dict keys. So hope you understood now the difference. I am telling here because you can better remember. Okay, hope you understood the difference between mutability and hashability. Now going further, coming back to your things, which is the personal details, right? So we have created a dictionary. So that details we will see. If you see now, so personal details we have. Generally, the Jupyter notebook we are using right now, so it will better do. But if you do like a print statement, all the values will come like this. Just imagine you have a very big list, means big dictionary means you need to parse all to understand. But if you are just printing in a Jupyter notebook, in a Jupyter notebook you don't even need a print. So it will do the things better. But what if you are in a script mode? In real time, every time you don't work on this one, right? So for that, for better printing, we can use a print statement. Apart from print statement, there is another module called as pprint. So we need to import pprint. Till now we are importing anything like this. If let's say just imagine this module has 10 functionalities, but if you want to use only one, then instead of importing entirely, we go for something called a selective import. Means from pprint import pprint. Means from this module you are importing one functionality. So now you see, if I do like instead of a print, pprint of this person details, you can observe that it is doing exactly how it is working. But one problem is there. If you using the pprint, it will not retain the order. It will sort the values. Did you see the none key came first, then the negatives, then the positive, then the alphanumeric, then like that it worked. But sir, I want to get in a sorted means you go like this. It will not sort the actual dictionary. In fact, the original dictionary is as it is. When printing, it will do like that. But sir, if I want as it is, whichever it is, so then there is another option called as PP. Instead of pprint, we use another option called as PP. If you use PP, you will get like this. In fact, Jupyter is doing the same thing in the background. Did you see when I in the Jupyter notebook and I printed how it came in a structured way? The same thing is happening here also, right? And not only this pprint and PP have the optional options for us. If you want to know further, you write a question mark or a help. It will give the things. So it is saying that sort dict is equal to false by default. That's the reason by default it will not sort and give as it is. So similarly for pprint also, when it is printing, it will have more options. If I do like pprint, for preprint also if I ask a question mark, it will tell a lot of things. How much indentation you want, width, how much indentation. So all those things also we can specify. So it depends upon what you want. Generally, when you are working with a large REST APIs in real time, so you need to see the all the records which are coming. In that case, you use it a lot. So if I say like person details, after that if I pass the additional option, so the indent, say indent is 2 if I give. So if you see the output, did you see there's a slight change, indentation 2 indentation is there. Or if I give like a 4 indentation, and also if I want like underscore numbers or anything, if I want to do, I can give all that options and you can see some space is there before it, right? Whereas pp is for just printing. So each has a particular purpose you can use. So the conclusion I want to draw is that you can use the general print. So if you are okay with parsing entire things as you want, if you want a better display, go with pprint or a pp. So pp will retain the dictionary order, whereas this one didn't. So not only this, even for pp also we can pass the indent. If you pass, it will show the indentation in a better way. Like that things will work. Next, most important point in dictionaries whenever anyone is working is iterating over the dictionaries. So till now, whatever you are working, the data types, integers. So integers we cannot work. It only iterables we can iterate, right? Iterables means till now string. If I take like a string, so each char in say Python, if I print each char, you can notice all the characters coming. If I say like maybe like end is equal to some space, you can see all the values coming in one line. But you can iterate, right? Similarly. So similarly, next iterable is like list. If I have some list of numbers, 1, 1, 1, so 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, something. I can loop over each of the values and I can get it. Similarly, if I go for a tuple means the same values within this parenthesis I placed and I looped over it. Okay, fine. But if I go for the case of a dictionary, how it works is, if I have the dictionary, say, let me take the previous dictionary which I made. If I go for a dictionary, maybe like I am making something like this. See here, one column so and so, two columns so and so, something. If I have comma, five something. If I loop over it, okay. So each character at a time. So you got like only three. Did you see by default you are getting only keys? That is very interesting. So if I remove this underscore end also, you can see the same thing. So only the keys are coming. This is very interesting. Why only the keys are coming means, by default for a dictionary, when you're looping, it will give only the keys. This is the most important points. Optionally, if you write like dot keys also, you get the same thing. Or like if you give dot values, if you want, you need to explicitly tell that, hey, I want values. Then it will give the values. Sir, it's a dictionary. I want both the keys and values. In that case, you should specify dot items. So why I'm mentioning like this and again looping means when you do an items by default in Python 2 they used to give a list of values, but in Python 3 it's an iterable. So it's an iterator object. You need to parse to get it. So like that, if you want, so you get it. So each pair, I would say, each pair you get it like this. Fine. So let me give one practical example. So let me create one dictionary. This time I created like this. I told that name is equal to Narendra Modi. So age is like some 73 now, right? Okay. So some salary is something. So CM of Gujarat and PM of India. And did you observe here? The I followed the structure. Key should be immutables and hashables. Fine. But did you see that one of the key is repeated? Basically, here one thing we need to remember. We do indexing with keys only. If the keys were repeated, the latest one will be retained. So if I use a print statement now, did you observe that the role is PM of India? Why PM of India? Because if we have like multiple times repeated, the latest will be taken. There are some languages like say Go language. If you do this kind of repetition when defining itself, it will throw in error. So, but like if you go here, it will be the other way. Next, going further, if I see, so anything, if you are repeating multiple times, the latest value will be taken. And explicitly, as I told, if you want like keys or values from this, you need to do dot keys. If I do dot keys explicitly, did you see I got a dict keys object? It's not a list purely, it's a dict keys object. If you see what is this type, you can ask the type also. It is an iterator object, dict keys object. See here, it's a type of dict keys. So means this is a optimized object, I would say. Earlier in Python 2, it is a list. Now they made like a dict keys object. So if you want, you can either convert to a list or you can loop over it. Similarly, if you want values, you can say that with this dictionary dot values. So you got only the values as per the given order. Similarly, if you want both keys and values, we need to ask dot items. You get like that. So, but like if you want the values, you need to iterate over this. I told you that when you iterate, means when you are for looping on a dictionary, by default, you will get only the keys. So did you see what happened? You got like, name, age, salary, role. So though the dictionary has like both the values, but you got only the keys. So you know that. So as by default, it happens like this. If you want explicitly also, you should specify that. So if you specify also, the same thing gonna work. Okay. If I so do explicitly dot keys, I get keys. And if I say explicitly dot values, I get the values. You see, for each of the values. And also if I say dot items, I get the items. And do items means I'm getting both key and a value, like a tuple I will get. So each one will be a tuple. So why tuples are why not a list? That's how they created their structure. Because things should not change, that's why they created like a tuple. So fine. Now going further, if you want like two values, anyhow you are getting two values at a time, right? As you are getting two values, why can't you assign to two variables instead of one variable? So if you do that, it is called as like an unpacking concept. As you are getting two values at a time, instead of assigning to a single object, you are assigning to two variables. Then you can work individually with the key and a value also. What are the operations you want to do? You can do that. In the same lines, say, if you want to work on this dictionary, so you want to do some kind of operations. So let me do further. So dict operations means like you created something. So now if you want to add a new key, one or two delete if you want to some of the keys. How to do? Till now we created all at one shot only. But subsequently also we can create. Let me give one example. I have an employee called as Saurav Ganguly. Status is retired. Salary is something. And you know in numbers, right? You can have an underscore also, but it will ignore those underscores. It's for our readability. I wrote a strike rate, which is a expression, but when it is storing, it will store the values after processing only. So we know this one. So after this, and also we know that Jupyter Notebook by default uses pprint.pp only. So I need not use that also because I am in Jupyter Notebook. I'm just printing it. Did you see the expression was evaluated and final result is stored? And also, don't you think the order is retained in the output also? Fine. Now, if you want to index, hope you remember when you are working with lists, we use like for indexing, there also we did indexing in a list. How did we do indexing in list? We did like, so of 0, of 1 like that. We have created like a index, like a forward index, like we have a forward index and reverse index. We followed the same logic, right? In the same fashion for tuples also, we did like, forward index and reverse index. The same logic we did with the indexing. Whereas for sets, I told that sets don't have an order. There is nothing to do the indexing. So for dictionaries, there is order is retained. But can I go with like 0th value and first value? No. Though the order is retained, you cannot ask for the 0. It will think only in terms of keys. If you want to index, we need to give the keys. So keys are the only way in which you can index. That's the reason they told that key should not be repeated. If you repeat any keys, then it will be an issue. So what is that we can see here now? If I say employees has the name, yes. Employee has status, yes. As both has those values, you got the corresponding values. Means you have a dictionary, you give the specific key, you get the value. But sir, what if I ask for something which is not present? See, in this dictionary, there are 4 things. But did I specify something like a number of centuries? I didn't define. So if I ask what will happen, it will throw an error. The error is also precisely key error. So just remember. And you know how to handle the key exceptions. I wrote that. So now we understood. So first and foremost, in the operations, you want to check that dictionaries are mutable or immutable. I want to check this. Say that dictionaries are immutable. I want to prove this, that dictionaries are immutable. So sorry, mutable. Mutable means what? They should support change, but the change should be in place. Means before doing the change, I will ask what is the address location, and after that I do a change. What is the change means? Let's say I have a key, which is like status, which is a retired, which I want to change. I think you see now, you can see that there is a status which is retired, which I want to change. So if you want to update an existing key, the process is same. So you need to say like employee of status is equal to rejoin. I have an existing key which I want to check how to change. So after changing, I want to see what is the latest value and what is the address location. You see now, after changing, I'm asking, hey, what is employee status? And I'm asking so and so. If you see now, initially also address location is same. After also address location is same. And by the way, so the value is also changed. And if you see the overall also, you can see the change that Status is rejoined now. Means it is supporting in place changes. So with this, it is clear that it is mutable object. Next, one more thing is how to add a new key. The existing key you added like this. If you want to update an existing key also, this process is same. Updating the existing key also same process. Adding a new key also same process. So you need not worry. If you do right now, and after that, if I ask, hey, total employees, you can say that, you can see that employees is like this. So the new key was added. Where the new key was added? It was added in the last. So it will follow the order in which you have given. Okay. So there are for retrieving the values. This is how you understood how to update. But if you want to get the values, there are different ways. For getting a values, so the most common things are dictionary dot key like this, or there is other things like get and set default. So these three ways are there for indexing only. Why three things? What is the purpose of each of them? You know, if you have a value and if you want to get, so there are two ways I told. So first using this direct indexing with the key, what I told, if you have a value, you can directly ask. But if you don't have a value, you will get a key error exception, right? So if you have a value directly you are getting, if you are asking for a value which is not present, it will throw a key error. So that is the problem with the direct indexing. What if you don't want to get this exception and you want to handle the things better way? So for that, we need to go for dot get. If I go for a dot get, what will happen? As strike rate is there, so you will get the values. But when you are asking number of catches, as number of catches is not there, it is not throwing any exception, but is returning a none. So why it is returning none? Because the default, it has that option that by default, if you have a key, you give the value. If you don't have the key, you give that so none. But sir, can we have an option that we can give other values? Because sometimes we will do the operations with integers. If you get a none, we cannot work, right? We want a default value or something. In that case, we should pass the second value. If I pass the second value, whatever the second value, whatever the data type may be, it will get that. So if it has a value, it definitely gives that value. If it has the key. So, but if the key is not present, then the second value will come. If you don't write anything else, so it will work by default. But will it change the original dictionary? No. If you see the original dictionary again, did you see that the number of catches was not added? Fine. So, what if you want to see in such a way that if a key is not present, that key should be added, so and the value should come. If you want that kind of scenario, in that case, the last scenario comes. I repeat again, in the first scenario, if you have a value, you get it. But if that key is not present, it will throw a key error. To avoid that, you have gone for get. But get will give the value if the key is present. If not, the default value, whatever you mention. If you don't mention, by default, it is none. But it will not change the original dictionary. What if you want to change the original dictionary also? In that case, we need to go for set default. Observe carefully. So if you do the set default, initially you have strike rate, you get the value. But number of catches is not there, then it will assign a default value of none and you will get it. Observe carefully. When you are retrieving the values, it is same like get. But after that, if I ask, hey, what is the employees? Did you see that a new key called as number of catches was there now? Fine. So what if I do like one more time and I'm asking, means this time I'm asking, hey, number of catches is 240, 234. So now tell me, will it create this key? No. Set default will create the key only if the key is not present and assign value. If the key is already present above, it will not assign. Though you gave like a default value of something else also, but you get the same thing. So if you see now, did you see? So the number of catches, it is saying none only because the key is already present. And did you see in the number of catches, its value is not changed. But you take a new value and give a default value, then it will work. Means if I take a new one, say if I take like a employees dot set default of ODA matches played is 155. So now this key is not there. Then it will create this key and assign the value and also give us the value of 155. After giving the value, if you check the original dictionary, you see that the changes were reflected there too, and you get the value. So that is the difference between these three. So this is the most important point you need to be remember. Similarly, if you want to check whether a particular key is present or not, how do you check? There are two ways. If you want to check whether a key is present or not, particular key, you check with the in operator, or we can go with underscore underscore contains. In both the ways, it will do the same job. So means like I am checking for say number of catches. I can check here also for the same number of catches because by the time the number of catches is also there, right? So I can try the same thing. So in the same fashion, you can see that if it is present, it says true. So in the same fashion, if I ask number of wickets, did I say number of wickets? No, it's not there. So it will be false. If you want to check, you can check in either ways. So also based upon these things, I can write an if else condition also. If number of catches in employees, I want to print it. Also no catches. Means I wrote a small logic just to help you. Hope by now you understood what are the dictionary operations, how we can work with them. So let me take another example. Another example. So, every time I'm creating a dictionary and I'm getting some values and I'm playing from there onwards. But till now, I didn't create a empty dictionary and worked. If you want to create an empty dictionary and work also, we can do. Say, let me take one dictionary as, say, language equal to dict. And if I ask, hey, what is a language? It will say it's an empty dictionary. And subsequently, if you want to add the keys. So I told that if you want to update an existing key or add a new key, so the logic is same. In so you index and get the things. And after that, if you ask, hey, what is the language? It has this keys added, so you get it. And did you see the order in which you added is retained? And similarly, if you want to add one more key, single key value, I can do. So like this also you add. So like the same way, I add single value. Now I got it out. What if I want to add multiple key values at one shot? Say, to get this understanding, let me create one more dictionary called as a Python dict. I have a language till now. So let me tell you what is language. You got it. Now I am going for this one. So what is this? Python dictionary. I have another dictionary. With this dictionary, I want to do. You observe now what happens. This is another dictionary altogether. This entire dictionary I want to update to the language. How to do? By the name itself, it is saying, can I do two dictionaries concatenation? Means dictionaries if you want to add two dictionaries. Till now we did a two addition of two strings, two lists, two tuples. So two sets we couldn't do addition. Similarly for dictionary also we cannot do. Means dictionary concatenation is not supported. Then how to add one dictionary to another dictionary means there is an operation called as dot update. If I do dot update, then it will update. And observe carefully here. In the original dictionary, you have name is equal to Python. So creator is so and so. Latest version is something. And this new dictionary which from which you are getting the values also have some value. And did you see there are some keys which are common? So whenever the keys are common, it will update the existing value. Of course, here also name is equal to Python. Here also name is equal to Python. No difference you can observe. So maintainer, creator. So latest version. Okay, here also latest version. And observe in the original thing also latest version is there, which is 2. So 7 dot so and so. But in this, we have a latest version which is 3.8.5. Apart from that, it has one more version also. Now, after doing this update will not result in anything. So if you ask like, hey, what is the language? So did you see now? It will have a combination of existing values and new values. So the latest value was updated. It has an existing value which is 2.7 something, which was updated. Means when you have like multiple values, we can update like this. And it will have the latest values. And observe that your Python dict will not change. Means in this process, whichever is the first dictionary, that only will have the changes. The second dictionary will not have those changes resulted. If you want this thing to be shown in a single line, I can show. So name is equal to say Python dot update of. So like I'm creating one more dictionary to help you understand. Name is equal to Zango. If the key is present, it will update. If key is not present, it will add. Say um, um, version so is equal to 3.4. It don't have a key. Maybe it will have something else. So lang uh, is equal to py. Something I wrote. So it has two keys. It has two keys. Now we see what will happen if you update. Of course, we are not seeing the output. It will update, but it will not show the result. That's a point. Just to show this. So maybe like I will take this as a one dict. So dict is equal to this thing, and I'm doing like a so dt dot so and so. Hope now you can understand. So if I'm asking this dt now, which are is first will only update. Did you see name is same, right? So when key is same, the value will be updated. Which are the latest values Zango? So that's why Zango was updated. And if the key is not same, the existing values will be retained. And if you have a new key, that also will come as it is. So that is the concept of so update. Whenever you have like multiple values to update, can use the update operation. For that, I wrote the conclusion that how do you work? So whichever you want to work, it will work. And till now, fine. We have gone to the process of adding the values. It can be like adding a single value, multiple values, all these things we have seen. Then how about deleting the values? If you want to delete the values, so we need to go for so pop operation. There are two things, in fact, called as dict dot pop and dict dot pop item. What is this pop and pop item? Generally, we know in a list pop is there. But what is pop doing? If you have any dictionary, it will remove the values. Say I am going for this Python dict. In this Python dict, I have four values. And if I want to pop something, so I need to remove my. So I need to explicitly tell that, hey, so do the pop operation. So pop is an operation. If you go for anywhere, it during the operation also it will give a value. And after that, if I ask, hey, what is the value? Then also you can see. You see, when it is doing, it got the almighty, maintainer is almighty. And after that, hey, ask what is a dictionary? Did you see that this key was deleted? So fine, it's deleted. So you can also do one more thing. You at this moment, the key you have deleted. Now we don't have maintainers anymore. And if you do a pop again, it will throw a key error. You see now, if I'm asking again to remove the same maintainer, it will say, hey, no such key. It will result in a key error. So, but this pop comes with one additional options that If you have a key, then delete it. If you don't have also, so that be calm, don't delete it. So in this way, we can go for the second option. Observe carefully. Till now you do a get. Similarly for pop also there is a default option. So whenever you are removing a key, if you place a default option, something, at least none, then if that key is not there, it will not throw error. It will result in a none. So whereas if the key is present, it will delete it. So in this both the cases, I don't have this key and I will remove it. So you see here, it's not removing the original dictionary. The original dictionary will be as it is, as you have some default value you are giving. In the same fashion, if you see, so for the pop item, you take something, say like latest version. I want to delete. You give that version, it will delete it. You see now, if it has something, it will delete it. It will not ignore this default option. If it don't have only, it will do like that. So in the same fashion, what if you want to delete so the last values? So if you have explicitly the key, you can delete it. But what if you want to do by position? So for that, we need to go for pop item, dict dot pop item. So let me create my dict. Say this time I am giving some values. Say A for apple. So B for something like B for ball, C for cat. I have three options right now. So for this dictionary, if I do like a dict dot pop, pop item, pop item actually will not take any key from us. It will just remove the values in random. So not random, sorry, in the last value it will remove. So, dictionaries will retain the order in which you give. So from Python 3.6 onwards. So if you execute, you can see the order is retained. So if I see in this case, it is having the values and it is retaining the order. And if I do like a pop item, you can notice the last value is removed. And after that, if I ask, hey, what is my dict? You can see that dict is there. And similarly, if I do pop item, it is removing the last element. If you say like my dict, the last element is removed. And it has only one value, you can do a pop item. So your my dict will be empty. And if you do like a pop item again, it will throw an error. Means for pop item also it should have some value, right? Similarly. And alternatively, there is other way of deleting also. Let me take our Python dict back again. We have some values. And if you want to explicitly delete, so there is one option called as a del. I told del is a powerful operator. We can delete. But in this case, we should ensure that the key is present. If the key is not present, it will throw a key error. If your key is present, then it will delete it. And after that, if you see that particular key is removed. And del is so powerful that we can delete the entire delete dictionary also. And before that, I want to tell that we have something called as clear also. Before even clear, there is one more thing called as copy to help you understand. If I say like, PD is equal to and the dictionary I'm creating. So now if I ask like, hey, what is PD? It will say it's a dictionary. Now, if you do like a dot clear, clear means what? It will remove the existing values. So after that, if I ask, hey, what is my dict? It will say this. If I say PD, it is saying still it has a value, right? So that is the beauty of copy. Copy means like shallow copy. And if you have a multiple dimensions, you should go for so copy module with shallow copy and deep copy. And similarly, with the del operator, we can delete the dictionary also. So both the dictionaries we can delete if you want. And after that, if you ask, hey, what is Python dict? It will throw an error. So the del is so powerful that it can do anything like this. And the last options within the dictionaries which you want to learn is about like merging multiple dictionaries. Okay, till now we have seen the concept of update. Update is also one way of doing. So if you have like merging, there is a concept of unpacking, which I will tell you shortly. If assume that I have two dictionaries like this. So if I say like A comma B, you can see A dictionary and B dictionary, both are coming. Maybe I can write a print statement to better print. Okay, A dictionary is coming, B dictionary is coming. So there are multiple ways of merging two dictionaries. The first and foremost option is using the dictionary unpacking. So till now you didn't see this option. This is for the first time. Within the dictionary, you can do like this. This concept is called as unpacking. If you remember, during the string format, I told two stars if you write, it will become like a key equal to value and it will add them. And did you see? Both the dictionaries were added to a C. When you have two dictionaries, like this also we can add. Or there is one more module, so called as collection. So with this, we can add multiple also. I hope you remember yesterday we used this collection for name a tuple. Using the same way, we can also do collections.chain map. If you pass multiple dictionaries, it can also do that. And also in Python 3.9, they created a new operator for this. So with that also we can do. And similarly, if you already know update operation, but update is changing the original object. But these three options will not change the original object. Hope you understood what I'm trying to say. Similarly, um, if you want like update equal to, so that is the concept of update. So dictionary, so A dot update of B. If you want the exact replica, it is like update equal to. So means the original object also will change, right? Uh, I think like yeah, original object is also changing. So similarly, this pipe operator was introduced in Python 3.9 onwards. So we can use this pipe for like any kind of something like a union operation. Even in the sets also I showed this operation of union. So even sets also it can work. So even if you give dictionaries also, multiple dictionaries, you see in this case, I have one dictionary, 0 colon 0, false colon 0. In terms of values, 0 and false will have the same value. So that's why the value will be key are same. In fact, so if you understood, this is a very interesting logic. If you create a my dict containing, this is one of the entry question. If I say 0 for 0, false for false, false colon false, say 1 colon 1, and like true colon true. If I create something like this, now see what will be the output of this dictionary. We got 0 for false, 1 for true. So don't think that so false will be preferred or something else. So it all depends upon who comes first. If in this case I am repeating this order in which it is coming, and here also I am repeating the order, I am changing. So whichever the latest is coming, it will update the previous one. Why it happened like this means, in terms of value, 0 also has a value of 0 in the backend, false also has a value of 0 in the backend. So that's why whenever you have the same key, the latest value will come, right? In the same fashion here also. So false for false is there, false for 0 is there. When the keys are same, the values will be updated, right? That's why the latest value got it. This is in fact a very interesting interview question, which was asked for multiple times. Hope you understood this concept. Any doubt? So here the order, it will follow the order in fact. So whichever the order you have given, it will go based upon that order. So nothing to do with the priority, as both has the same value. So last thing. So I think like you already know about the copy problem and deep copy. I need not work on it, but you can create your own things and you can work on it. But so with the dictionaries, one last thing I want to create. If you want to create a, uh, copy, safe copy, till now the copy and deep copy, so which I don't want to touch. But there is another option in dictionary is called as from keys. What is this from keys attribute doing? So how it can help us? So generally, if I want something like a template, I can go with this. So assume that I have the person details. Say person details. Hope you remember. We wrote like very good person details. A lot of things this person has. So I found it, and I want to work on this person details. So it's a big dictionary. Whenever I want to create any new person also, I want to follow the same logic. Now assume that I have this person details. If I print also, it will give the same values. So from this person details, if I want to create a new person, like a replica, if you want to create a replica for a new thing, so I want to say like a new person details I want to get. How do I get the new person details? So assume that every person who is coming to our organization should have all these details, like name, salary, age, and all these things. If you want to create, first we need to create that empty dictionary. So, and then we need to say like anima. So what are the person details dot from keys of the existing dictionary? What is the existing dictionary? Personal details. If I do right now did you see? I got all the things. So whatever the keys are there, I got with the same keys, right? But for this to work, first the dictionary should be defined, and everyone will confuse. The original dictionary should be inside. So what are the new dictionary you are creating? That should be outside. And you may be like this. But after that, if you ask like, hey, what is the dictionary? It will say empty. Means what are the changes which are getting created will not be reflecting on the original object. To avoid that, so what we can do is we can create, so new person details is equal to person details dot from keys of like this. Means we get a replica, but like it will not update on the original object. If you need to update like this. So like this, we can create a safe copy. So in this process, if you can observe, the values are every time none by default. But if you want like, you can also give a default. So that is the concept of default. But if you give anything, it will work. If I say in this example, instead of a none, if I say like, none as a string if I want. If I execute, the values will be all none as a string. Or similarly, if I go further, if I say that, the value should be like a empty, so it will be an empty string right now. Or like if you want the value should be something else, you can write all of that. So is it clear right now? This is how I create a safe copy from an existing dictionary. And the last option before going further, so is about how do you create a dictionary. So I think like till now we have seen different ways of doing all of them. I want to do some kind of summarization. So different ways of creating the dictionary. Till now we have seen the different ways of creating dictionary. And if I can consolidate all of the options, so I have this. I can create a dictionary. So using different ways. First way is like directly key colon value, comma, key colon value like that. And the second option is, so dict of like this also we can create. And the third option is we can create with the key equal to value like this comma separated. So tuple values means if you pass like a list of tuples also we can create a dictionary. So we can use the zip also. I will explain these two options right now, but this is also another option. To prove that whatever I wrote is correct, I am passing like this. So these are all the ways in which you can create a dictionary. So till now, right, how do you work on a list tuple set? Hope you remember I told if you have a string called as a Python, if you use a list built-in function, you can convert. And if you use a tuple built-in function, you can convert. So if you pass like, set built-in function, so from the same string, you can convert to a set. But if you use a dictionary for the same string, you cannot convert. What it says, update requires two values, but you give only one. Means it expects two values. So how do you pass two values? So will you pass like two tuples like this? Two pythons? Will it create? No. So for dictionary to create from any iterables, you need to work on something called as a dict. There is something called as a zip. If you pass like a zip, it will create. Say like the same Python you did twice. You got the answer? Of course, you cannot get the values directly because it's an iterable object. In Python 2, if you want to see the values, you need to convert to a list or for loop. Now, did you see you got a list of pairs? So list of tuples. This list of tuples, if you pass to the dictionary, then you can create. If you pass this list of dictionaries, you can create a dictionary. Means, so dictionary if you want to create, you need to have a list of tuples. So means list of pairs, to be frank. If I have a list of pairs like this, I can create a dictionary. So if you have a list of pairs, it will create. But who will be the key? Who will be the value means? Whichever is the zeroth value, that will be the key. What if I give the order in a reverse way? Means colors first, then the colors will be the keys. And again, the rules of the thing should apply. If the same red is coming twice, the latest value will come. Similarly, if I have a list of instead of a list of tuples, I have a tuple of tuples. And it doesn't matter whether you have a list of tuples or tuple of tuples. It expects like a pairs, that's it. Even if I have a tuple of lists also, it will work. So it should expect two values. If you pass like two values, it will create. But what if I pass like a three values? Will it work? I have three values. Then it will not work because you don't know which should be the key, which should be the value. It can if you can identify two values, then it will work. So within those values, if I make a further pair, then it will work. So whichever is the key and value. And in the same fashion, if I repeat the other side also, it will work. So this is all about the keys and values. So let me go with one practical example. Say I have one key called as a cities. And similarly, I have something called as a countries. See, I have two iterables. So note that we can create dictionaries from any iterables. Preferably don't prefer a set because set we don't know the order. Then we don't know like which one will go for which one. At least here we can show that zeroth value will go to the zeroth value, first value to first value like that. But in a set we cannot dictate the order, right? And also from this, if I create a zip from these two dictionaries, if I create a zip, zip by default will not give the values. And if you convert that to a list, if I do a list of zip, did you see I got a pairs of values? And if I pass these pairs of values to a dictionary, I need not convert to a list and then pass to a dictionary. I can directly also pass. Now, did you see how I created? So if I want to create, so however I want, I can do in that way. Means if I want cities and countries, I pass cities as a keys first and the values on the other side. In the same fashion, if I go further in the reverse direction also, I can do. Means like if I say countries first and cities next, in that way also I can create. So not only that, if you pass like anything, two pairs of values to this, zip is basically, it will take any two pairs of values and it will create a thing. So once from that, it will create a dictionary. So zip is so interesting that we can work on creating any pairs from it. But let me help you understand the concept of zip a moment. If I say zip is taking a Python, and if I'm saying like programming, observe carefully. So both the values are not equal. If I have two values, and if I say yes, did you see what happened? Python programming is there, but the values are not in a particular order. So, sorry, it's not equal. To understand more betterly, so list of zip of, if I say like one example, 1 2 3 4 5, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Okay, I'm using commas unnecessarily. And observe carefully what happens. As it has extra 2, those are ignored. So that is what happens. Zip will take the minimum values within them. So whichever is having minimum, it will go with that. If let's say this time I am passing like only 3 values in the other side, whichever is having the minimum values, you get that one. Hope you understood the concept of it. So like this, it will work. Next, further, and one of the interview questions which was asked is, like how do you create a safe copy? Means the reverse of a dictionary. I think like we can close immediately in a moment. But like how do you create a the reverse of a dictionary? If you have any dictionary, so say like if you are creating a dictionary like this. So I am taking some values and I'm creating a dictionary. And now the question is, how do you reverse the dictionary? If you want to reverse the dictionary means what? Key value should be reversed. Key should be values and value should be keys. And of course, the rule should be applied. Then how do you create a dictionary safely means if you have a dictionary, you first loop over it, the existing dictionary. And so when you're looping, if you ask, hey, print the each key, and if you ask like each value, you observe that each key and value are getting. And during the process, the reverse dictionary, you created one more dictionary. For that, you are say like each key is equal to each value. And further, if I ask like this reverse dictionary, so if I comment this one, did you observe that it is coming as it is? But if I for the same thing, instead of this one, if I do these values reversely, means instead of each key, if I do each value is equal to each key. Now, don't you think I did in a reverse way? So this is way simplest way of reversing a dictionary. This is one of the interview questions, and I'm making you prepared for that. So I think like with this, I want to give a stop. Next, we can work on the text frequencies analysis and other kinds of options within this.